Hey guys, it's Miss Gross and Miss Woods, and we are here. We're going to go over solving and graphing two-step inequalities. This week you've been working on solving and graphing one-step inequalities, and by now you're probably getting ready to solve two-step inequalities. That is Thursday's assignment, and then Friday's assignment is graphing two-step inequalities. And so we're going to go ahead and go over some of these with you in case you're having a little bit of trouble. So let's go ahead and get started. The first one is 1 plus 3t is less than 10, and you have to solve it and graph it. So Miss Woods is going to solve it.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I gotta pull up my annotation here. Hold on one second.
Oh, do you want me to do that one?
No, I got it. It's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so we have 1 plus 3t is less than 10. So our first step, we look at this and we can't simplify it anymore. We don't have any distributed property. There's no combining like terms on this one, but our next step is we have to get rid of our constant. And in this case, our constant is a positive 1. So we have to subtract 1 from each side. And then that will leave us, since those cancel out, that will leave us with 3t is less than 9. And our next step, once we got rid of the constant, is we have to get rid of the coefficient. So we're going to have to divide each side by 3. And I'm going to, of course, run out of room down here. And then those 3's cancel out. And we are left with t is less than 3. So that's our answer when we solve it. T is less than 3. And then Ms. Gross, are you wanting to show them on the graph?
Yes, ma'am. So when we go here, we're going to go to 3, and remember, that's a closed circle. That would be if it's equal to. So we're going to click it again, and that would give us our open circle. And we did not have a negative coefficient, so the inequality stayed the same direction, and it's pointing to the left. So we're going to draw it all the way to the left. So t is less than 3.
Let me clear my screen here.
All right, and I'll solve the next one. 1 plus 3g is less than or equal to 10. Now this one we have that less than or equal to, so that's going to be a closed circle. I'm going to rewrite it. 1 plus 3. Ooh. It keeps popping up my little name when I'm doing this.
Yeah,
1
it does
plus
it for me too.
3g is less than or equal to 10. And so I'm going to get rid of my constant. Minus 1, and that cancels out, and we're left with 3g is less than or equal to 9. And then we're going to divide by 3, and 1g is less than or equal to 3. And so when we go to graph it, we're going to go back to 3, and this time it is the closed circle, and it should be less than or equal to. I forgot that little equal to sign, and that's why it's closed circle. Always look before you press submit. Always look to make sure, is it got the equal sign? All right, let me clear mine. Here we go.
Can you scroll down? There you go. Scroll down a little bit. Give me some room.
How about that?
There we go. That's perfect.
That's even better.
So on this one, we have 4n minus 2 is less than 6. And we know our first step is we have to get rid of that constant. So I'm going to have to add 2 to each side. And then these cancel out. That leaves us with 4n is less than 6 plus 2 gives us 8. And now we have to get rid of our coefficient. I'm going to divide each side by 4 to get rid of that. And we are left with n is less than 8 divided by 4 gives us 2. And then Ms. Gross is going to have to graph it for us because I don't have the capability to do it right now.
So again, if I click on it, that's closed circle. That would mean it's equal to, and it's not. So I'm going to click it again, give us an open circle, and look at the direction it's pointing. It's pointing to the left. We're going to go to the left. Submit. All right, I'm going to go with a little bit harder problem. I'm going to go up, jump a level. There we go. That one's not that hard, is it?
Nah.
We'll do it anyway.
Yep.
Okay, so we've got negative 10 plus 7p is greater than 4. This one's going to be an open circle one. I want to get rid of my constant. I want to get rid of that negative 10 by adding 10 plus 10. And if you're trying to figure out, like, what do I do there? You got to figure out what would you add to it to get 0? It's basically taking its additive inverse. So negative 10 and positive 10 cancel out, and we're left with 7p is greater than 14. 10 plus 4 is 14, and then we're going to divide by 7, and p is greater than 2. So we're going to go to 2. It's open circle. And look, it's pointing to the right, so we're going to go to the right. All right. Okay, this is the question that I think a lot of you were asking me about. I'm glad this question popped up. So let me clear this one. Ms. Woods, you want me to go over it, or do you want to go over it?
I can go over it. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so on this one, and I did some of these with my class because I think I made sure to get some of these when we were in our Zoom on Monday to make sure we could go over some. So we have t over 6 plus 17 is greater than 16. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and get rid of this constant. So we're going to do minus 17, minus 17. Those cancel out, and we are still left with the t over 6. And then we have is greater than, and then 16 minus 17 would give us a negative 1. So on this one, we have to still get rid of our coefficient. So technically, our coefficient is 1 over 6 because we know it's invisible right here in front of that t. So we have to multiply by the reciprocal of that to get rid of that coefficient. So, oh, hold on, wrong thing. Not 1 over 6. I'm trying to write the coefficient again. So we would have, you can either just do 6, or I've told my kids if they feel more comfortable doing 6 over 1, that's fine too, either way. So this causes those coefficients to cancel out, and then you have t left. Try to use a different color here. So you have t, and then we have greater than, and then you do negative 1 times 6, which would be negative 6 over 1, still leaves us with negative 6.
All right. And look again. So we saw a negative here, and some of you all had questions about that. But it's if the coefficient is negative, and your coefficient was t over 6, so that's positive 6, and so it would not change the direction. The direction would still be going to the right. So we're going to go to negative 6, and we're going to open circle because it's not having an equal sign, and we're going to the right. All right.
Nope, let me clear. Hold on.
Okay.
There you go. You can do this one.
All right, I'm going to go over this one. Actually, okay, yeah, I'll go over this one. All right, so k over 2 minus 1 is less than 1. Draw, keep them separate. So I'm going to get rid of my constant, plus 1, and that cancels it out. And 1 plus 1 is 2, and k divided by 2 is less than 2. And so just like Ms. Wood said on the last one, what's division, and we undo division by multiplication. So we're going to multiply both sides by 2, and you can multiply by 2 or 2 over 1. Both ways will work. Since she showed you 2 over 1, I'm just going to leave it this way. These cancel out because 2 divided by 2 leaves you with 1k, and that's exactly what I want. I want 1k, and k is less than 2 times 2, which is 4. And so I'm going to go to 4. And it's open circle because there's not an equal sign there. And look at the direction it's pointing. It's pointing to the left, so we're going to go to the left. And the reason why we say the direction is pointing, if you'll notice, the variable is always on the left when we do that. If it's not, the variable's on the right-hand side, you have to flip it. And we hopefully will get to the problem where you will have to flip it. That's the same problem, isn't it?
Yes.
Here, let me let me go ahead and put that one in. It's 2, 4, less than 4. It's the exact same problem, right?
Yep, just a different variable.
That's going to be a positive one too.
Yeah.
18 would be 6. It'd be less than or equal to 6. Sorry, guys. We're going to try to get you to the ones that are.
Yeah, I wish we had one where it at least did it to where we had to flip it, where we had a negative.
Yeah, negative coefficient.
That one's not going to be it either.
4. That would be G, so it'd be 8, right?
Yes.
G is greater than 8.
Mm-hmm.
Open circle. All right, let me go jump a level. Let me jump a level. There we go. There's a negative. That's a good one.
Goodness gracious. All right, do you want me to go ahead and do this one?
Sure. If you want me to, I can do it.
I'll let you do this one because I want to make sure you're showing them the right way.
41 is greater than or equal to 37 minus Q. And the reason why we're like, oh, this is a negative coefficient. Remember, minus Q and negative Q are the same thing. So I want to get rid of that constant first. I get rid of that 37. The only way I can get rid of 37 is take it away. Minus 37. Minus 37 on this side. 41 minus 37 is 4. And that cancels out there, and I'm left with negative Q. Now, there's a couple things going on here. I got the Q on the right-hand side. I got a negative Q. So let's go ahead and just solve. How would you get rid of that negative Q? What did we say if it was just a Q just sitting there by itself? What did we say that was? How many Q's is that? It is. It's 1 Q. So it would be like negative 1 Q. So how would you undo times negative 1? We would undo times negative 1 by division. We would divide by negative 1. So we divide by negative 1 here, and we divide by negative 1 here. And that cancels that out with there, and we have just Q, and that's what we need. And we're going to keep this the same here, and then 4 divided by negative 1 is negative 4. Now, we've got two things going on here. I want my Q on the left side. And the reason I want my Q on the left side, and I did another thing wrong here. Let me erase this real quick because I don't want to confuse you. That should not be there. So I want my Q on the one side, and I just divided by a negative coefficient. Remember that? I told you if you have a negative coefficient, you have to flip the symbol. And so I need to make sure I flip my symbol. So because I divided by a negative, my symbol now needs to go this direction, okay? And the reason why is, look, this number is positive, and when we divided by a negative, we got a negative. So it went from the positive to the negative, so that greater than sign needs to become the less than sign. So I wanted to make sure you know that. Now I have it correctly, but it's not written the way I need it to be written. I want the Q, I'm going to write it over here in this box. I want the Q to be on this side, and I want the negative 4 to be on this side. So how you do that, you take that inequality symbol that we have, and you go the opposite way. And the way we would read it over here, and I know there's a lot of things going on, let me undo that. The way we would read it over here is Q is greater than or equal to negative 4, because we read it on the other one, negative 4 is less than or equal to Q. So that was a lot, and hopefully the next problem will be very similar that we can go through it, but let's make sure we've got its closed circle. We're going to go to negative 4, and it's closed circle, and we're going to the greater than sign. It's going this direction. Well, that didn't work, did it? All right, do I have everything correct?
Yes, it looks correct from here.
Okay, there we go. Let me clear this. That was a lot going on, like I said. And that's when you don't get to those problems until you get above the 80s, though. Okay, so those of you who are working on, just getting to the 80, you probably won't see problems like that. But if you're trying to get above, to make sure you understand it, you will start seeing those types of problems. Let's do one more.
Yeah. Do you want me to go ahead and do this one?
Yes, please.
I just wanted you to make sure you explained it the way you wanted to flip it at the end. I didn't want to mess you up. So.
Ooh, there's a lot of flipping.
Yeah, it was. 1 minus m is less than or greater than -1. So we have to still get rid of our constant. So I'm going to subtract 1 from here, subtract 1 from this side, and then that leaves us, since those cancel out, that leaves us with a negative m is less than or equal to, and then that gives us a -1 plus a -1 gives us a -2. So just like Ms. Gross talked about, if we do not see a number, a coefficient right here, we are assuming that it is a 1. So to get rid of that coefficient, I'm going to have to divide each side by a -1. And when I do that, here, I'm going to try to do a different color here. Those cancel out, and I have m, but then I have to make sure I flip this sign right here. So now it will, instead of being m is less than and equal to, it'll be m is greater than or equal to. And then -2 divided by a -1 will give us a +2. So there's our answer for that one. That one's a little easier than the last one, not as much flipping on it.
So it's a closed circle and it's going to the right. All right. I hope that these helped you. If you need any help, please do not hesitate to reach out. And also, Ms. Woods and I are doing GBB every day. One of us will be on there from 3 to 5. And we post the links in both the GBB Google Classroom and our own personal, our own Google Classrooms. You are doing that, right, Ms. Woods?
Yes, I am.
Posting it. Okay, so we have them posted. So don't forget that you have that resource from 3 to 5 each day as well if you're working after school hours on that. We hope that this helped, and we hope you have a wonderful day.
Bye, guys.
Bye.